Editing process of this podcast, I noticed that my microphone was having some technical difficulties. So you may notice some spots being louder than others, some spots being quieter than others. I did my very best to stabilize the audio so it's not as so back and forth. However, there's some spots I probably missed and could have done better with, and I sincerely apologize. However, from this episode moving forward, it will be better as I got all of my stuff fixed, so I don't see any issues moving forward. Thank you so much for hanging out, and now let's get on with the show. Have you ever wondered what would happen if wrestling took a different turn? We're breaking all of that down right now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the inaugural episode of Squared Circle Sessions. My name is Rambo, and alongside my friends Hannah and Braden, we're taking you deep into the October 6th episode of Monday Night Raw. We'll break down the matches, the stories, and the standout moments that had the wrestling world buzzing. However, that's not all. Hannah puts Braden and myself to the test with a trivia segment that'll challenge some of the most die-hard wrestling fans. And to close everything out, Braden hits us with an intriguing what-if scenario that's bound to spark some debate among the internet wrestling community. It's analysis, it's energy, and attitude, but most importantly, it's wrestling. All of that right here and so much more on Squared Circle Sessions. You can find us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and YouTube. While you're still here, feel free to give us a like, a comment, a follow, and share this to those who share the love of professional wrestling with you. Now, before any further ado, welcome to Squared Circle Sessions. Well, here we are. Another wrestling podcast. You're probably thinking, oh, it's just the same like any other ones that I see on here. Except no, it's different. Because others, you have one, maybe two different opinions. Here you have three. Why is that better? Because, well, three is a higher number. This is Squared Circle Sessions, the first episode recorded live on TikTok. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Rambo. Friends, introduce yourself to the wider audience.
Hello, everybody. My name is Hannah, and I have been a professional wrestling fan for 25 years, give or take. And I'm looking forward to doing some wrestling with you at least weekly.
Hi, everybody. I'm Braden. I am the youngest of the group. I still have a lot of years watching under my belt, but definitely have a new-aged opinion and mindset on things. So that is what I'm looking to bring to the group, and I'm excited for this project.
Well, let's not hold back any. Tonight we're recapping the October 6th episode of Monday Night Raw. And just a heads up, if you haven't watched it yet, might want to wait to listen to this until tomorrow if you don't want to be spoiled.
Yeah, don't forget those spoiler alerts.
I'm gonna have people up like
Spoilers are ahead.
Yo, Rambo, you just spoiled that for me. It's like, oh well, whoops. Sorry.
Yeah, so disclosure to the audience. There will be spoilers.
Well, the show starts off with the probably 10th return of Roman Reigns for 2025.
Just this year.
Just this year, yes.
Just 2025. Last week, he made his, yet again, a thunderous return to help save his cousins, the Usos, from a tsunami. Which, cool. But if he's gonna keep returning, I kind of wish it was for a different storyline.
Agreed.
The Roman
I mean,
Reigns
at this
he didn't
point,
wrestle
it's
tonight, unfortunately, Gary.
yeah. Unfortunately, it's like eat, sleep, return for PLE, leave, repeat.
Yeah.
That seems to be the theme as of late.
As he
It's not a bad storyline. It just seems directionless at the moment.
Gary on TikTok says, "When is Brock Lesnar coming back?" I hope it's as long as possible. With all due respect, I don't necessarily despise Brock Lesnar, but I don't necessarily like Brock Lesnar.
It has to be the right circumstance for a Brock comeback.
What about LA?
I feel like it's going to be...
We'll get into him here shortly.
I feel like it's going to be... I hope it's a while, but a part of me fears that he will be added into the War Games scenario at Survivor Series.
I think it is too.
I could see
I think he's going to be woven into the Vision.
Yeah, especially with the dynamic that Seth and Paul's been having recently, where
it would make sense.
Tense, but Seth's kind of doubting himself, like, "Oh, I need to beat Cody," but he's like, "But I've already lost to him 3 times," and Paul's saying, "You're going to win. It'll be impossible for you to lose, and if you do, basically that's on you." Not exactly verbatim what he said, but you get the picture.
Right. I wouldn't mind seeing...
Solo Sikoa should join the OG bloodline with Roman Reigns.
Not at the moment. There's just no direction there at the moment for that to make sense.
Something with Solo, but we'll talk about that more in our SmackDown episodes, which will be done on Sundays.
We'll get into that. No,
yeah, because Solo's a part of SmackDown, and so right now him being transplanted into a Raw storyline right now wouldn't make sense.
Right, I'm sure they do it, but it wouldn't make sense. Right.
Right.
Back on the War Games thing, I don't want Brock Lesnar in there, but I wouldn't mind seeing it just because it's a different thing from Brock. Like, it wouldn't be the same squash singles match.
That's where I'm going. It's like, I wouldn't mind seeing it if it's not Brock Lesnar's the 5th person to enter and then he just destroys everybody like he does like he did in the Elimination Chamber.
Right, because the problem with Brock is they don't book him to be anything else other than, like, you know, for lack of a better term, the Beast, right?
Right.
And this same thing with him, it's almost becoming a redundant train to be on. And, you know, that was, you know, case in point at WrestlePalooza. Like, he just was like a freight train running through John Cena, and it almost made John Cena's, like, entrance with all those Make-A-Wish kids, like, all that just to get squashed by Brock in 8 minutes.
That's just the constant Brock Lesnar storylines for the past few years, unfortunately.
One thing I've learned is that they need to have John Cena stop entering or making his entrance with Make-A-Wish kids, because the last 2 times he's gotten beaten. First time with Austin Theory.
It never ends well.
Now with Brock Lesnar. Now,
right.
In that situation, I'd rather be beaten by Austin Theory, because at least in that case, you put up a somewhat decent match before you lose. Brock Lesnar on the other hand,
it's kind of also like, if you've noticed over the years, a wrestler that comes out with, like, a live performance technically loses the match as well.
Yep.
It hasn't always happened, but you know, each time, like, for example, with CM Punk, each time he's come out with Living Color playing him cult personality to the ring, both of those WrestleManias he lost. So it's like building you up just to bring you back down.
It's almost like they're doing it to soften the blow.
Yes.
There's like, okay,
Like, yes, they lost, but they got this cool moment at least.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
All right, let's see. But no, Roman comes out, and before he even gets started with his promo, he's interrupted by Bronson Reed and Paul Heyman, throwing him yet again not necessarily like a straightforward challenge, but insinuates that there's a match on the horizon, which is for Crown Jewel in Perth, Australia this weekend.
Right.
Of course, Roman Reigns is like...
Which is where Bronson Reed is from.
Yeah.
I did enjoy that they let Reed do it alone.
Yes.
Like, it wasn't, like, much, but I liked that it was just him and not Breaker and Seth. Like, Heyman was there. He needs to be there. But I like that it was just Reed throwing on the challenge by himself.
Yeah.
I agree, and I think we need more of those, solo, no pun intended with that word, but some of like those solo interactions with their rivals, like have Bronson and Paul have their own moments, and then have Paul and Braun have their own moments. That way we can like really establish the differences between Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker.
Yes.
And that will help like establish their character. So I love that we didn't see like them as a tandem like we normally do.
Just differentiate them from being a team than being henchmen.
Exactly.
And then, of course, Roman Reigns accepts. So we now have Bronson Reed versus Roman Reigns. However, this time it's in an Australian street fight.
What does that mean?
What makes it Australian?
Yeah, like
Just
what's
because it's
it?
in Australia?
Kangaroos there, like maybe a couple spiders.
Are they gonna have prawns that they're gonna cook in the ring? Are they gonna put shrimp on the Barbie? I don't know.
Yeah,
It's like when I saw that, I'm like, what does this mean? Like, how does this differentiate from a normal street fight? Like, what makes Australian?
are they gonna go out and literally?
It's just in
fight the
Australia,
streets of
I guess.
Perth?
Maybe.
That'd be pretty tough.
I hope that Bronson goes over this time.
Yes.
Because it's not going to hurt Roman to lose.
I mean, is Nemo gonna swim to Perth and be on the side of Roman? I don't know.
Like, Bronson, I feel like definitely needs this.
Oh, yeah. This will cement him for sure.
I feel like Bronson definitely needs this win. But me kind of knowing how WWE books, they are meticulous with when Roman Reigns loses. Extremely meticulous.
Oh yeah.
And unfortunately, I don't see a world where they're going to let Roman Reigns like eat a pin clean. I think he'll go over, unfortunately.
And it does, I'm okay with it not being clean as long as it makes sense.
Right.
And
But
not
also,
just turns into a big, like, overbooked mess.
right. I would hope because they already had... Yeah. I would hope because they already had Roman go over and Bronson once, that now they'll give this one to Bronson Reed. But again, like, they're going to be super high on Roman. You know how it goes. But
Yeah.
I'm hoping because he already got that win, that this one, even if it's not clean, can go to Bronson.
And this is why I wish this match, and even though this is like not a popular type of stipulation match or gimmick match, but we know that most likely Braun Breaker interfere in this match in Perth. We'll most likely get an interference. There's a part of me that wishes that maybe to keep them contained, that this was a steel cage match instead.
Ooh, that would have been cool.
Yeah.
Because we're constantly, how am I trying to word this? We are constantly predisposed to the fact that the Vision's going to interrupt a match. And the best way to keep it harder to get into the ring would be make sure a steel cage is around Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed, so it's a little bit more self-contained.
Right.
And so, to me, it's like making it a street fight. Well, I think that just makes it easier for the Vision to get involved, and on top of all that, it just makes it easier for the ending to potentially become predictable, like we are known to be getting.
Right. And I mean, as long as they don't bring in the Punjabi prison, that's fine. As far as keeping them
Oh, let's not
concerned.
talk about Punjabi prison matches.
Good
Never
God.
again. Leave it in the vault.
But no, like, another thing with Roman Reigns, too, that it's really been catching my eye is the stuff that's going on currently with him and the Usos, especially Jay. Where week by week,
Inserting those subliminal messages.
Yeah, we're starting to see Jay kind of pull the old tribal chief handbook out. Like, I don't know, like,
See, the one thing I'm
expecting a
getting,
heel turn soon? I don't know.
and that's the point I'm trying to make, because, like, one thing I am really confused about is it seems like with the audience has finally embraced Roman Reigns the way Vince McMahon wanted it all those years ago.
Yes.
He's finally getting the cheers and the adulation of the crowd. But then he's kind of trying to turn Jay and even, like, indirectly Jimmy, trying to, like, sway them to the dark side again. And I'm like, is Roman trying to bring back the 2020-2021 bloodline and have it be, like, that dominant again? And it just makes kind of no sense to me why Roman is trying to get in Jay's head to have him act more heelish, more Roman Reigns-like, more tribal chief-like, when it seems like Roman Reigns is now the type of character that is trying to basically be the moral compass now, where he's trying to avenge all the wrongs that happened, especially with what Paul Heyman did to him at WrestleMania. So it kind of makes no sense. It kind of feels, I don't know, a little anticlimactic right now.
Yeah,
I can see that.
It's like, I don't really know. I can't tell if it's like they're trying to go for like a swerve where we think Jay's gonna end up switching over and turning heel and kind of embracing that like right hand man that he was back in 2020, 2021. Or if it's gonna be one of those, we think he's getting close, and then WWE's like, just kidding.
Right. I think Roman isn't necessarily a face or a heel. He's definitely a tweener at the moment. He's a face in the eyes of fans because they're all cheering for him. You know, he has that star power.
Yes.
But he's still a heel. He's never turned. So I would classify him as a tweener, and I think he's trying to support his family, bring his family up. Not how he used to do. He's trying to pass the reins, no pun intended, to Jay. So he's not the one doing the heel stuff anymore, but he's still encouraging Jay to be the one to do it. Like, it's his way of stepping aside and bringing up his family at the same time.
Right. Which kind of will lead us into the main event here shortly. That was announced in the middle of the show. That's also involving the Usos. But I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Maxine Dupree impressed the hell out of me tonight.
She's been getting better.
This was her best match so far.
Oh yeah, she's been improving.
Like, she's never necessarily been bad, but she hasn't really done anything that's caught my attention.
And I'm actually I'm a little bit torn, because tonight, when it was advertised last week that CM Punk was returning, a part of me assumed that maybe AJ Lee would interfere in this match and set up a match between her and Becky Lynch at Perth for the IC title. But I am proud that Maxine was able to get a really solid win clean
Yeah.
against Becky Lynch, and that's going to do wonders for her resume, and that's going to do wonders for her how she's looked by the audience.
Absolutely.
And so I'm like, part of me is disappointed we didn't see AJ tonight, because I thought maybe she would help, screw Becky Lynch and maybe help out Maxine win anyways. But I'm also really proud that they didn't go that route as well, and they just kept it clean. And I think that's something we've been missing in wrestling lately, is clean finishes.
Yes.
And like, for example, that's what, and we'll get to it later on, but that's exactly what we got in the main event. Finally, after God knows how long.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like, we've waited for so long to try to see if they were going to do something with Maxine besides just have her be a background character. But I feel like it's matches like this that kind of sets her up for a potential like mid-card championship down the road.
Right. And even if it doesn't get to that point, at least some respect on her name.
Yeah.
Like, at least if you see a Maxine Dupree match, it's not going to be a match you skip.
That, and it has the potential to not only be relegated to dark matches and main event.
Right. Because to me, she was starting to feel like Dana Brooke.
Yeah.
To make a comparison.
Yeah.
Like, she was always just there.
Like,
and so, by giving Maxine this,
not being used.
Right, and if she was used, it was a dark match, or it was just throw her in there, let her get squashed. So I'm glad they're doing something with Maxine now.
And I'm kind of liking that there's also, and I apologize to cut you off, Rambo.
No worries.
I was so proud that the creative team with most of the matches tonight made a definitive, this is who's going to be the winner. I miss there being like a definitive outcomes instead of them being like, we got to protect everybody in the match, and so everything's just going to end on DQ or end with an interruption or an interference. Sorry, wrong word. But it's like we got definitive outcomes after definitive outcomes after definitive outcomes, and it was refreshing for once.
Yeah, and like,
right, even the countout seemed fresh.
I was like almost terrified that it was just going to be the same match that we had a little while back between Becky and Maxine, where Maxine does pretty well and then gets squashed. I was worried that's what we were going to get. But it makes me happy knowing that my expectations were blown away. Some of those false finishes really had me. Like, but I really hope she gets a little bit, I don't want to say like better treated, because it's not like they're necessarily treating her poorly. It's like they're just not doing much. But I hope it's with matches like this where it shows that she's put in effort. She's fought to get to this position. Hopefully that shows and will influence later decisions.
Right, and we have this whole story with her from her very start. Like, it's not like a Lyra Valkyria where she comes in an established name and is a beast. Like, we have this whole story with Maxine where she came in at. Like, her whole thing for a minute was that she was a rookie. Like, that she was learning these things. So seeing this progression is like a whole story for her that can be capitalized later.
And a part of me feels like maybe somewhere down the line, I truly predict, and this is like an early prediction, I truly predict that the first time that Becky defends her title soon will be, I predict it's going to be against AJ. But I think, and this is why I really wish we had the draft this year, I think Maxine would benefit, and not so much like going to SmackDown, but I mean like maybe putting her in the ring with Julia and see how she is as a U.S. champion. Yes. And testing out that mid-card title and see if it works. Because I think more
hype, I could see that.
I think it would really be a different pace, and it would actually give Julia something to do because she has not been seen in forever.
No.
So
That whole
I
division
would
needs to be
actually like to
filled.
see a program between Julia and Maxine.
Agreed.
That whole division itself over
But
on
Maxine
SmackDown
versus
just needs to
Julia
be
for the
filled.
US title like intrigues me.
That'd be interesting. All right,
Like
guys.
it's
Oh, guys, women's wrestling was on fire tonight.
absolutely.
Because
And
next we have Roxanne versus Lyra Valkyria.
And Roxanne finally like won.
yeah,
Right, got a good win on her belt.
I was glad that she got it. Like no hate towards Lyra, but I'm glad that Roxanne was able to get it. And
Right, because
then
she's on the verge of women's superstardom. She just needs to start racking up some wins.
that, and I'm actually kind of enjoying this dynamic that they have now with Bailey.
Yes.
Like, yeah, of course,
I
I think
enjoyed
it
the
needs to
Bailey
be a
stuff
little bit
tonight.
more like flourished, so to speak. But it's definitely something that I could get behind.
Oh yeah. And I think with Roxanne, I'm very proud that she actually won because I was kind of getting tired of her always losing. Because like she's been kind of on like a losing streak lately. It's kind of like every member of the Judgment Day has kind of been on this like losing streak
Yeah.
and only winning like a handful of times. And I think they should really just keep this momentum going with Roxanne because I definitely feel like she's going to be like the next big star in professional wrestling for the women's side. And I know that's a cliche thing to say, but I feel like they need to strike while the iron's hot with Roxanne because I see really big things from her. And in my opinion, she's probably the most charismatic woman we have on the roster right now, except for Liv Morgan. But Liv Morgan is like obviously on the shelf right now. But I cannot wait until Liv comes back because I cannot wait to see the dynamic between her and Roxanne. And I think it's going to be fire. And I think it's going to be something that the fans are going to love to see.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
I think it's like on the whole Judgment Day side of things. I can't wait till they just disband them. If I'm being honest.
I hope they do it in a
If you
cool
want,
way because they
Chad.
need to do it soon. It's getting stale.
But
Yeah, I feel like it's
hope they
hold
do it in a
all of them
cool way.
back. I think it's holding everybody in that faction back. I think
this
it's
point.
holding Finn back. I think it's holding JD back, Raquel, everybody. And I think if they disband, it's going to help them out because I think one thing that really missing is like top, like main card stars. We don't have a lot of stars except for the stars that were made 20 years ago that are still because right now the only like the main event scene right now is like Roman, Punk, LA Knight, Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, and Randy Orton. But Randy Orton is always disappearing here and there. We really don't see Drew that much. Damian was supposed to be this big star, but now he's relegated to the mid card and feuding with Aleister Black. And so I feel like his stock has dropped because WWE is creative. So I feel like they really need to harness who is going to take those reins, no pun intended, when we lose Punk, when we lose Randy, when we lose Cody, when we lose Seth, because that's going to be sooner rather than later. And WWE has got this big problem with not having the next crop of main event stars that have the potential to be in the main event of WrestleMania. They don't have a lot of people outside of those five I just mentioned.
right.
They have guys on the cusp. They're just not pulling the trigger.
Like there are people that can be ready, but they're not ready. Like everybody's so ready right now to put like a Braun Breaker in the main event. It's like
Well, he's not ready because he has no character.
Exactly. And talking about the women's division, might I add that Kairi Sane and Io Sky match cooked.
Per expectations. when you get those two women in the ring, you expect it to be fire.
People like almost sleep on Kairi Sane.
Which is insane. I think it's because she's paired with, or was paired with, Io and Asuka, who are both amazing workers.
Right.
You forget about how amazing Kairi Sane is.
She's kind of lost in the shuffle because you have like Asuka and Io who are technically bigger stars, but I think Kairi is like a dark horse. She's like that wild card. And with Io, her wrestling style really reminds me of a mixture of back in the day, a mixture of Gail, Kim, and Lita. You got the high flyer of Lita, but you got that grappler that Gail Kim was.
That's a very interesting way to put it.
I like that.
And in a lot of ways, I kind of wanted to see. In my opinion, Io Sky is if Gail Kim and Lita had a love child, it would be Io Sky in the ring.
I like that.
Yeah, that's a very good way of putting it.
I think Io is the best high flyer we have right now.
Io is.
Io is definitely
wrestler right now.
Oh yeah, and she's definitely in that main event of women's, but I think she's still the future.
Oh, absolutely.
Like she's on that top, she's gonna be there. But when we're talking about exactly, which is crazy to think about, but when we talked about you're talking about Roxanne being the future. I think if I had to pick like a new 4 horsewomen out of the women we have right now, I would say Roxanne, Lyra, Julia, Stephanie Vakir. Like I think those are the 4 that are going to be the top of the women's wrestling world here soon. But you also brought up not having the next crop of stars ready. I couldn't tell you a top 4 right now for the men.
And that's the big problem with WWE is like they are handling the women are killing it. And in my opinion, we have like a lot of potential with the women. But for some odd reason, where WWE is thriving with the women, they're failing with the men. And I don't know if it's like the men's superstars in general or it's just creative.
I think it's creative. To me, we have a lot of talent.
Right, but in a lot of ways, it's harder for men to get over in anything lately, especially in society. And it seems like women are really, really stepping up right now and showing their charisma. And I loved, for example, that we have 3 women's matches tonight, which rarely happens.
Right, that was awesome.
And I think it helps. I think it helps the show by having more of a balance, being it like 3 men's matches, 3 women's matches. I think really helps the fluidity of the show because when it's too male focused, I think you lose the audience a little bit.
That and only having 2 in-ring promos made it a lot better too, because then it seems like more of a wrestling show and less of a drama, so to speak. Because when you have an in-ring promo that takes 30 minutes or so from actual wrestling. And I get it. They are there to develop storylines. But honestly, the 2 that we had tonight, I think were perfect. We had a promo, a match or 2, then a promo, and then the rest.
Right, perfectly placed. Yes, pacing was awesome tonight, I think.
And
I also think we had a show.
Go ahead.
And there's something I feel like that was missing from the past 2 weeks is I personally feel, and I may have a bias towards this one of the people I'm about to mention, but do you guys notice that when both Roman Reigns and CM Punk are on the show is just better in general?
Yes.
Right, they have the most star power right now.
Exactly, and it's like back in the day when you knew that Rock and Austin were in that building, there was an aura. When you go back and watch Attitude Era Wrestling, those fans back in the day, and I remember as a little girl especially because I was like 3 in 2000. I still kind of remember little bits and pieces. But when I used to watch Raw, it's like when I knew that both Rock and Austin were going to be there, there's an aura about it, and there's an excitement level. And now I feel like Roman Reigns and CM Punk are the two stars that have taken over that ambiance. Because like tonight, I knew both of them were going to be there, so I knew it was going to be a really good show.
Yes. But let's see.
Yeah, we went to Kyrie and Io. We kind of skipped over the Punk promo there.
Oh, I was gonna get to that one.
Okay.
Actually, that was next up on my list. The Punk promo, I feel like, is exactly what it needed to be. It wasn't anything like long and drawn out. And then you had the inclusion of LA Knight, which is developing that story between those two, which, whenever those two both have a mic in their hand, gold.
Magical things are going to happen.
Because you have two people that are already great mic workers. And then you add in Jay Uso, which I'm not really a fan of on the mic personally.
Right, but he adds that different element.
Yeah.
With the two great mic workers. Yes, he has the gimmick, but it works when he's in the ring with other good talkers.
Yeah, that they can definitely kind of like help pick him up where he doesn't necessarily shine.
Right.
If you want a match
then like you
over, then throw in Jay.
Precisely.
And I think like a lot of the male superstars, like the ones that need to get over, I hope that a lot of them are watching intently with how CM Punk interacts with the audience. Like he did simple things. He sang a song that he knew the Dallas crowd was going to know. He interacted and pointed out a sign that was in the crowd. He told them why he had been gone for 2 weeks. He brought up AJ. He said, "Thank you for giving her a warm welcome back." There was a little bit of an AJ Lee chant, and he got straight to the point. Like, I was away because Cody Rhodes asked me to step away for a little while, and now he's back in after Crown Jewel. He's back in the hunt to be world champion, and he did everything that I feel like a lot of the superstars don't do when you're cutting a promo, especially if you've been gone for a while. It doesn't matter if you've been gone for a week or 2 weeks, but in the world of professional wrestling, if you've been absent for two consecutive weeks, that is like a year.
Yeah.
Because it feels like WrestlePalooza was already 6 months ago. Things run really fast in wrestling. And you want to stick with the who, the what, the why, the how, and the when it comes to your promos. When you come back, you want to hit all those bullet points. But you also want to make sure you're having a conversation with the audience. And I feel like Punk is one of the last breed of superstars that knows how to cut a classic professional wrestling promo that sounds authentic and does not sound scripted.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Honestly, I feel like LA Knight is starting to get to that point. Like, I think it, like, and I love the shtick. But I feel like
that's only going to work for so long.
Whenever he's got the mic and he's really passionate about what he's talking about, that shit feels real.
Oh yeah, he's moving past his gimmick, which is what Jay needs to do. But LA Knight is definitely becoming more than just a gimmick. Like, and if they push him right, that'll lead to main event status.
Unless it's like trying to hype, like closing out a segment, getting into, like, leading towards a match. The crowd's saying yeet every other 3 words. That's great.
Right.
But when that's the whole promo, that's where it starts getting kind of old.
Right.
It's the same thing with the what chants.
What?
Where they're great whenever it's appropriate.
What?
Yeah, it's annoying. And like it's and here's the thing, like so many of these wrestlers rely on their catchphrases, and they have to like, you know, what Undertaker has said that he doesn't particularly like with modern day wrestling is everybody feels like they have to get their stuff in, and you don't have to do that. You have to read the room and know when to do certain things, and you shouldn't do the same thing all the time.
Exactly.
And like with Punk, he's never really necessarily had catchphrases. Punk is not known for his catchphrases, and that's not what got him over. Is like catchphrases. Like Seth Rollins has the "I'm a visionary, I'm a revolutionary, I am Seth," and then the audience says freaking Rollins. Then LA Knight, anytime that, you know, he has to make sure he covers the dead air in the promo, he says yeah, and the audience says yeah back. And then there's the Yeet Fest, and it's just like, to me that just feels like pandering too much. And to me it's like, I want to know who the raw version of you is. I don't think Jey Uso, when he's at home taking care of his kids, he's saying yeet every 2 seconds. And I don't think when LA Knight's at home he's saying yeah every 2 seconds. It would be nice to actually hear them cut a promo where they're being more of themselves, more reality based, because we know that, you know, what we see from Punk on camera is pretty much what we're going to see from Punk if we meet him at a coffee shop. That is Phil Brooks just amplified.
Yeah.
And I kind of wish we would get back to that more with promos. Like, that's why I have a huge disconnect with Seth, is because I want to see a little bit of Colby Lopez kind of peek through Seth Rollins, instead of it just being this over exaggerated Seth Rollins all the time.
No,
and so that's kind of what I want to get back to with promos.
No, that is definitely fair.
Right, I agree with that.
The next match. Well, hold on. Going back to that promo really quickly. That promo is what helped set the tone for what was to be the main event of Monday Night Raw, which was a tag team between the Usos and CM Punk and LA Knight. Into the promo, things get tense between Jay and Knight, and then Punk and Jay starts going at it, which led for Jay to get a cheap shot, pulling Jimmy aside, and then bam. After that's over, commercial break, then they come back. This is the main event, Punk, LA Knight versus the Usos, which I'm so damn glad it wasn't the Vision.
It was very refreshing.
Yes, very refreshing.
Needed is a great word for it.
And I didn't even expect Punk to wrestle tonight. I thought he was just going to have a talking segment. So it was nice to know, oh, we're going to have CM Punk in the ring? Cool.
It's like a treat.
Yeah.
The match before that one was a decent match. It was a 6-man tag match between the Judgment Day, JD and Finn, and Dom going against Dragon Lee, Penta, and AJ Styles. Which, it was fine. It wasn't necessarily the, match of the night.
Right, it was good for what it was.
Yeah.
It was like the cool down. It was the cool down part of Raw.
But it was also entertaining enough to not feel like, just another match thrown in there.
Right. And honestly, I think it's just about always a good time when you have Penta on screen.
Right, or Dragon Lee, or AJ Styles. Just a lot of great workers.
Dragon Lee is highly slept on, and I think that's just because the language barrier.
Right, and he's never going to be able to have a character with the language barrier.
No.
He's going to be there for the exciting moments, which I think is fine.
Like, the matches between him and Dom and NXT for the North American title
were awesome.
Those were great.
Yeah, he's an awesome worker. And I think he's good for what he is. Like, I don't think we need him to be anything more at the moment.
No. Plus, this also kind of helps set the pace for Saturday. At Crown Jewel, we get AJ Styles versus John Cena one more time.
Whew, that's going to be good.
I'm very excited for that. And I'm glad Styles acknowledged that there wasn't a story. Like, he because we've all been saying it. It's been all over online. There's no story going into it. I'm glad that he acknowledged that there doesn't need to be one.
No. You have two people
Yeah.
the caliber of a AJ Styles and a John Cena that's had a history of having great programs.
Right? Why wouldn't they run that back? Right? Why wouldn't they?
Especially
The story.
But I can also understand like the audience's point of view, because I think they wanted to at least see them have like at least one promo together.
Right.
And I can understand the audience being a little bit disgruntled that there's no build up to this. And it's like, this is the last time we're going to see John and AJ, and I think personally for me, I would have loved to have seen at least one promo battle between the two of them, and that would have been tonight. Like, I really wish that they could have squeezed John Cena into this particular Monday Night Raw, because I just wanted to see them riff off each other and kind of be like that, like back in the day where it was AJ Styles and the OG, when it was like Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson and them coming out and saying, we're gonna beat up John Cena. To actually hear that again in front of John would have been a huge nostalgia pull, and I understand that. But to me, I'm kind of conflicted, because there's a part of me that is like, I'm glad that they're getting this match anyways, but I just really wish, there's this part of me that really wishes they could have found a way to get John Cena on the card for this particular Monday Night Raw, especially the go-home show to Crown Jewel, to have a moment with AJ. But that's just me. That's my personal opinion.
I feel like anytime we get Cena on the mic anyway, it's definitely a treat.
Yeah.
Because, like, on my top 10 mic workers list, he is my number one. He is interchangeable with Paul Heyman as far as being able to get on the mic, sell tickets, tell great stories, progress storylines. He's got it all. That, I feel like poor Austin Theory hadn't recovered from.
No. No.
Bro.
Oh, yeah, because of that famous promo where he's like, they have to pipe in fake crowd noise because the audience really doesn't care. And I'm like, ooh. Yeah,
That Raw.
Yeah, that'll do it to you.
I'm not going anywhere, just like that bald spot on your head ain't going anywhere. Cena just comes back, I'd so much rather be bald than have them pipe in fake crowd noise for my match, because nobody cares.
And speaking of a Raw that I was at, that infamous one where he says, like, I don't have to write my promos on my wrist?
Yep.
I was at that Monday Night Raw too in Portland. I was there for that.
Hell yeah.
And Rock for a shoot, he looked pissed off.
Oh yeah.
He didn't even talk for 10 minutes after that. There was this entire like dark segment where he stayed out in the ring for like 25 more minutes, and he talked to the audience, and he made fun of like one audience member wearing one of the John Cena's things, and he called him like a 45-year-old virgin and everything. And it was hilarious. But Rock looked flustered after John just like left, and he didn't talk for 10 minutes.
Oh yeah.
The thing is with John, and he's famously said it in a promo, is don't bring a knife to a gunfight.
Oh yeah. And it's great that it's not every time either.
Yeah, whenever Cena's on the mic and somebody else is in the ring, 9 times out of 10, that somebody else in the ring, they ain't gonna have a chance.
Right, like also Roman.
Yeah.
When he was battling babyface Big Dog Roman.
Yeah.
Learn a promo, buddy.
Congratulations! It took you 5 years to cut a halfway decent promo, but now I'm about to shrink you down to size.
Right. Like that's the magic of Cena on the mic.
My favorite line from that particular Raw is when he says, "The reason why I'm here part-time is because I do this better part-time than you do it full-time." And I'm like,
that's amazing.
That was hard.
I'm like, he's not wrong. And then Kurt Angle in the back is just snickering.
Kurt almost looked like he was crying that entire thing. Like, if you get certain little, like, glimpses of Kurt in the background, he almost looks like torn. Either that or he's looking at Cena like, yep, I was his first opponent.
Right, like proud.
It's like, look
Oh
at
yeah.
He was like a proud papa, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
At least it wasn't the prototype in Roman Reigns.
Oh
For
boy.
sure.
Could you imagine Prototype versus Big Dog Roman? That would have been the most generic thing we have ever seen.
Yeah, that would have been awful.
It's like creating a superstar on 2K and then forgetting to hit save. That's what you get with the prototype.
Oh, that is very true. That's a great way to put it.
That's a reason why I've gone through a couple different controllers. 'Cause I'd forget
Fair
to
enough.
save, and then I'd go play it as my created character, and it's not there, and I put in time and effort into it. And I'm like, mother.
Been there.
Or having a haircut or going to a barber and saying, I only have $5. Can you do something with my hair? And then you get the John Cena haircut.
The prototype cut.
You either get the John Cena haircut or you get a bowl cut.
Oh my
Like they
goodness.
just throw a bowl over your head and just like, all right, there you go.
That's no worse than the Tyson Kidd haircut.
Oh man, I don't even know how you managed to get that. Like it was kind of impressive that he managed that hair.
it was just like a thin patch of hair on the top, and he spiked it up with like mousse or whatever. I don't know.
Right, that
Had only a
was
cow
low-key
neck.
impressive. You really did. All right. Before we get into the main event here, Hannah, do you have a game tonight?
I kind of do.
All right, let's hear it.
All right. So it's a quick game because I know we're a little bit late, so I wanted to pick the quicker type game. So basically, I have like 8 different questions. Both of you are going to be competing against each other.
All right.
And then if there's a tiebreaker, then I have a tiebreaker, like kind of like a wager question. And basically what we're going to be doing is a Shield trivia game.
That
So
is
every-
awesome because that kind of goes into my what if later on. So
All right.
that's perfect.
So basically it's seeing how well you know the group, the Shield, okay?
All right.
Let's do it.
In my first question, in the opening part of the theme song, we hear Sierra, Hotel, India, Echo, Lima, Delta. And we all know that each member of the Shield was involved in saying those words. Can you guys name which members of the Shield said which word?
Seth, Dean, Roman.
So basically tell me who said each of the words.
Okay, hold on. Can you repeat them one more time? I know them, but I'm missing one.
So each of them said 2 of the words because Shield is 6 letters.
Yeah, could you just repeat the
Right, that's what I was getting to.
Okay.
I had like a warm up to it.
Gotcha.
So there is Sierra, Hotel, India, Echo, Lima, Delta. Which members of the Shield said which word?
So for Sierra and Echo was Seth. Hotel and Lima
Was Hotel
Dean.
Roman? Oh shoot.
And India and Delta. Or no, Echo and Delta, sorry, my dyslexic ass. Was Roman. So it was
Brayden,
Seth, Dean, Roman,
who do you
Seth,
think?
Ooh. Rainbow might have this one, but I think hold on. Sierra Hotel. India Eco. I think Sierra was Seth. I think Hotel was Roman. India Dean. And then I think just the same order, Seth Roman Dean for the last 3.
Yeah, because each of them is the same order. So Rambo, you think the order went Seth, Dean, Roman, and Brayden. You're doing Seth,
Roman,
Roman, Dean.
Yes.
So Rambo gets the point.
Shoot.
I'm going to read it off here. Sierra was Seth.
Okay.
Hotel was Dean. India was Roman. And then Echo was Seth. Lima was Dean. And Delta was Roman.
Okay.
So Rambo gets the point.
Yeah,
Okay.
I completely forgot how to spell shield whenever I was trying to explain it.
I forgot what the S was.
Well, I was sitting there, I was like, which word did I already say? Shit.
I can totally just remember Roman saying hotel for some reason. Okay,
Well,
fair enough. 1 point Rambo.
and there is a video out there. You can go find it on YouTube.
I do remember the video too, yes.
I thought that was
And
pretty
Seth
cool.
holding that cheesy cup of coffee in his hand. You're like, what? Okay, next question. Who was the first Shield member to become a Grand Slam champion by winning the WWE Championship, the Tag Team Championship, the United States, and Intercontinental Champion? Who was the first member of the Shield to do that first?
That would
I
be
want to say
Dean
Ambrose.
You both say Ambrose?
Yep.
Both of you get a point.
Whoop whoop.
So we're 2 Rambo, 1 Braden.
I just realized on my camera I look like a just giant head.
It's okay. All right,
Brandon,
so
I'm
we're at
sorry.
third question. What is the date where the Shield initially broke up?
June
What-
2nd, 2014.
It's June 2014. I think it is second, but I'm going to say third.
Was June 2nd, 2014.
Dang it.
That was
Yeah, I knew
after
you had
my
that.
birthday.
So we're at 3-1. All right, so we're at question number 4. All right. So this is basically see how well you have listened to interviews over the years. So this one might be the more challenging one. When the Shield was initially going to break up, who was going to be the one that was going to turn heel initially? Was it Roman? Was it Seth? Or was it Dean?
It was Dean.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Dean.
Both of you get the point. Originally, they were supposed to split up at Survivor Series 2013, and it was going to be Dean Ambrose.
That early. Wow.
Yeah, that was early. I was like,
Yeah, I didn't know it was that early into their run.
if you'd
Damn.
asked the date, then we'd have both got it wrong.
Right.
All right, so we're at Rambo's got 4, and then Braden's got 3.
Sounds right to me.
Okay. Oh no, 2. Sorry, because we're at
Dang it.
question number 5.
I was going to
Braden's
go
like,
with it.
Damn.
All right, we're at question number. I think this is 6. All right,
Yeah. I don't know. I can't count.
I can't count either. I know there's 3 more questions on this list. So, okay. Between Roman, Dean, and Seth, which combination of Shield members have never been tag team champions?
Roman and Dean.
Rats, I can't stump any of you. You both are right.
Yeah, I've not touched grass in a little while.
All right, so Rambo's got 5. Braden's got 3. So we got 2 more questions. Which member of the Shield held the United States Championship the shortest?
That would
Who had
be
the shortest title reign?
Roman. Oh, hold on. Seth's more recent U.S. title reign was that shorter.
But I'm talking about their first title reign, their first U.S.
Oh,
Championship
first
reign.
ever? Roman.
Roman for sure.
It was Roman, 2 months.
Yep.
Yeah, because he won it from Rusev at
It was
Hell
more
in a
just to
Cell,
get him the Grand Slam.
and then lost it to Jericho right before the Rumble.
Yep. Yeah, it was more just to get him the Grand Slam. Same with his IC title win.
Which is
All
forgettable
right.
as well.
Question number 7. So we're the second to the last. When it came to developmental, which member of the Shield was signed to a developmental contract first?
I think it was Seth. No?
Is that your final answer, Braden?
Yeah, I'll lock in Seth.
Rambo?
I think I'm also gonna go Seth.
Both of you are actually wrong.
Oh, it was Dean, wasn't it?
No.
It was Roman?
It was Roman. Roman was signed to a developmental contract in May of 2010, and Seth Rollins signed his contract in September of 2010, and Dean Ambrose signed his in March of 2011.
What's funny is I was just about to say Roman, and then Braden said Seth. I was like, wait, was it?
Yeah.
I knew they were like really close together.
I guess it makes sense because Seth was in ROH and Dean was in other companies, and obviously this is Roman's first. So I guess that makes sense.
All right, so we're at the final question. So right now we're at 7 and 6. So if you can get this right and Rambo gets it wrong, then we will go to the tiebreaker question. If Braden gets it right and you get it wrong, then he wins. So you have to win this. Okay?
Gotcha.
All right. Which member of the Shield did Triple H face first in a match?
That would be Dean Ambrose.
I'm going to have to say that's right, but I'm going to send out Seth Rollins just for a Hail Mary. But I know it's Dean.
That would be a Roadblock 2016 for the WWE title.
For a one-on-one match, it was Dean Ambrose that got the first one-on-one match with Triple H.
Was it at Roadblock, or did they have a match on Raw, like, way before that?
It was at Roadblock 2016.
Okay, all right. Congratulations.
So, Rambo, you win by 1 point. But the famous wager question I was going to pick was, which member of the Shield has never faced The Undertaker?
Seth.
That'd be Seth, yeah. I was waiting for the Chris Hero question in there.
Chris.
I had that one in my bag.
Yeah, that was going to be the next question, and I was going to basically the second part of that was, who was the first member of the Shield that the Undertaker requested to face on a random episode of SmackDown?
That was Ambrose.
Yep, and that was an actual request from Mark Calloway himself. And I have a little bit of a side note just to share. He said that when Team Hell No and him had that 6-on-6 tag team match in London at the O2 Arena, Mark Calloway was single-handedly impressed, was verbatim, of Ambrose, and went to Vince McMahon and requested to have a one-on-one match with him the following week.
Hell yeah.
That's sick.
So
You're doing good whenever you get requested to have a one-on-one with Taker per him. You're either doing really good or you fucked up.
He also wrote, quote unquote, in an interview, I saw him as the next breakout star in the group. I was dead wrong when it was Roman, because I felt like his mic skills lacked a little bit. but
And they definitely did.
he thought that Ambrose was going to be the breakout originally.
That's interesting. That's very cool.
Yeah, I like
All
that.
right.
Well,
Congratulations,
Rambo,
Rambo,
congratulations! You won the first trivia game.
Congratulations. All right, let's move into this main event, and then I can end it off with my what if for the episode.
All right, the main event of this episode of Monday Night Raw was, like I mentioned earlier, the tag team between CM Punk and LA Knight versus the Usos, which ended in rather controversial fashion. Punk had him right there. LA Knight's like, nah, fool, I'm going to take this. 1, 2, 3. Match is over. LA Knight kind of gets out of the way.
I liked seeing that out of LA Knight. I think it was a very interesting ending, foreshadowing things, but I liked the way LA Knight did that.
I wonder if we're going to get a potential turn from LA Knight.
I hope not.
To see that. I would like to see that.
Well, I know, but like for example, right now we really need baby faces more than heels.
This is true.
Yeah.
And so I think Hunter does a fine job booking heels, but he's not doing the best of job booking really over baby faces. And I think with how many heels we have on Raw right now, LA Knight needs to stay a baby face so it evens out the scale.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that is a good point. I think more of a tweener role for him would be great. Like, still obviously a face, he's hyped, he's over, but not just the generic babyface role for him would work.
Right.
But we need those like baby faces that have like 100% of the emotional support from the audience.
Right, which I think he definitely has.
He does.
Right.
And the fact
And I feel like
how organically over he got. They didn't have to worry about, shoving him down our throats or overbooking him. It was like almost as organic as Karrion Kross's was. Where like we didn't hardly expect LA Knight to be as hot as quickly as he got.
Right, he got super hot. But now they're just letting it kind of burn out.
Yeah. They didn't strike while the iron was hot.
Not at all.
And that's a running issue that Triple H has, is he is a really big advocate for long-term storytelling, which is great. I love long-term storytelling. But not every storyline you have needs to be long-term.
well, yeah, and you also don't want it to run at turtle speed or you're going to lose interest. And especially with how we absorb content in our daily lives as it is, our attentions are skewed. And usually when we're not getting instant gratification, we tend to lose interest or we lose hope. And we're just like, okay, what's the next thing? And unfortunately, that's just the mindset of the world we live in now. And we can't, there's a reason why TV series on all these platforms are 10 episodes a season. It is really, really hard to keep somebody interested in something for 9 months. It's very difficult in today's day and age. Back 20 years ago, nobody knew any better. But now with everything the way it is, I would love to see certain storylines finish up in 2 to 3 months.
Yes.
I would love that. And I think WWE follows this formula, and the formula that they think works doesn't work.
Think back to the summer of 2023 with the original, of last year, sorry, with the original Alpha Academy. Chad Gable was being this ginormous douchebag to everybody in the academy, and they were all they as in us, the fans, we're all clamoring. We're like, oh, this is gonna snap, and this is gonna hit. Everybody was chanting "Free Otis," and whenever he got close to snapping, that was the loudest pop of the night. And then they never did anything with it.
Right.
They never pay off anything. They do everything for the moments, right? But they never pay it off. Okay, so you had the moment, you did what you've been you got the reaction you're trying to get out of the audience. You did what you've been trying to do. Now what's the payoff?
And
Right, like,
this
we're
is
gonna-
where I lead with that.
And for example, like there was like, I know a lot of people are really happy AJ's back now, like AJ Lee, but I knew a lot of fans were a little bit, and I think a lot of it has to do with like fantasy booking and then booking yourself into disappointment, which fans often do. But a lot of people were disappointed when the payoff of the Drew and Punk feud wasn't AJ Lee like making an appearance then. You know, and a lot of people online like, where's AJ? Where's AJ? Drew McIntyre is bringing up AJ, is bringing up Larry, like their precious dog. And it's like, I think a lot of people are like, AJ should make an appearance, at least get the payoff. Eric Bischoff on his 83 Weeks Pay podcast said that there shouldn't be a reason why they wouldn't pay it off by having AJ Lee show up somewhere, you know.
Right.
And now she finally has. But it could have really been something that would have been the ultimate payoff for last year's feud with Drew.
Absolutely. And like the thing with payoffs and storytelling and everything, I'm gonna say this, and I don't want anybody to take it the wrong way because I love Sami Zayn. Sami is one of my favorite wrestlers, like, in this modern era, right?
Me too.
But god damn it, it should not have been him at WrestleMania 40 to dethrone Gunther. And I will stand on that until the day I die. Chad Gable was there. He's had Gunther's best matches in that title run, albeit besides with his matches with Sheamus and McIntyre. But nobody expected Chad Gable to, take Gunther damn near to the limit. And
right, that's a perfect ending.
In the mid card at the time, he was perfect to do it. Instead, if I remember correctly, I don't think he got a match at Mania that year.
Not that I can recall.
Not that I recall either. I don't think he did.
I don't think he got a match at WrestleMania 40.
Yeah, I watched both of those. Nights on Peacock. Yeah, I don't. Going back in my memory bank, he didn't have a match at WrestleMania.
No, that would have been perfect. And even if it wasn't at Mania, if it ended at that Raw, or was it SmackDown? I think it was Raw. Whatever show it was on, if it would have ended there, like, that would have just been so shocking and such a great ending to Gunther's reign.
And, like, again, no disrespect towards Sami.
He didn't need it.
No. He
was so hot at that time.
Who it could have elevated further.
Right.
Because Sami had already reached the mountaintop without winning a world title.
Right.
Multi-time Intercontinental Champion. Hell, he put on a great match with a non-wrestler at WrestleMania.
That was a really good match.
I might be biased because I really love Jackass. But Sami's main evented WrestleMania. Chad Gable hasn't even really had a proper moment at WrestleMania. Besides his suplex last year. Not last year, 2023. In that
Right.
big, tag team showcase to Braun Strowman.
Agreed. Like, that is the perfect... Oh, shit. That is the perfect way you could have ended that reign, I think. I think that was the deserving winner.
And that's where I kind of seen the downfall, not necessarily downfall, but the potential fumble with LA Knight is they seen how hot and over he was. But they waited another year just about to actually give him a title.
Right. And they're going to find themselves in the same pattern.
Yeah, and it was the stretch from September of 2023 when he's really he started to really get over with his feud with the Miz shortly around the time that Bray Wyatt passed away.
Right.
It went from there to August of 24 without a single title.
And here's the problem, like with like LA Knight and Sami Zayn and a lot of these other superstars, and even superstars back in the day like Zack Ryder and Dolph Ziggler, John Morrison, Evan Bourne, and even Wade Barrett to an extent. I don't know who in the back it pisses off more to get over on your own, but I don't know if it's a Michael Hayes issue, a Bruce Pritchard issue, a Vince McMahon issue back in the day, a Triple H issue, and I don't know who's feeding it into Vince and now Triple H's ear that getting over on your own means you should be punished. But that needs to stop. And part of me, my gut instinct is telling me the biggest problem in Gorilla is Bruce Pritchard.
Yeah.
And because he is very much like Vince McMahon. If you watch the like Unreal documentary, for example, he got on Abyss for the Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns match going a little bit over on the premiere on Netflix. They went 3 minutes over and basically went up to him and said it was overthought, overproduced, and you could see Chris Park, aka Abyss, to anybody that doesn't know his real name. He is like, I'm sorry, Bruce, I tried. And William Regal can see he's getting flustered. And William Regal was like, you did perfect. You did great. It's okay. But Bruce had this like passive aggressive, like, it was overproduced. We went over the 8 o'clock time. And it's like, this was his first time producing a match backstage. And it's like, that's how mad Vince used to get.
Right.
And so
the McMahon crew is going to be that way.
Exactly. And so I'm thinking, and this is where I wish Triple H would just step up and say, no, it's going to be my way or the highway. I'm head of creative. You guys follow my lead. But I don't know why it would be an issue to get over on your own. And even if you have your favorites, even if you're somebody that wants a Cody Rhodes and a Seth Rollins to be champion, that's all fine and dandy. But you have to listen to your audience. You can't alienate them by like only giving them a bone every once in a while. You just can't do that. And then you're going to have disgruntled employees like CM Punk 11 years ago and have them quit. You know, it's just like you can't do that. And that's why I wish they would leave who their favorites are at the door and just listen to the audience and say, hey, Sami Zayn is getting over. LA Knight is getting over. Those fans love them. Let's do something with them right now. Instead of just being like, oh, it's not their time. Oh, they're not this person. They're not that person. So we're going to squash their push.
Yes.
Right.
And that's just the deal. It's like, even, like, and I know Indies and WWE, AEW, stuff like that, they're vastly different. But it is it is entirely better to be able to get yourself over and not have it be, like, forced, so to speak. Not saying it's, like, necessarily forced as in they're showcasing you too much, but if you are getting yourself over, you know you're doing something right. And you're not just following a script per se.
Right. All right, back to this match.
Yeah.
We went on a good rant there. Good rant. But
that's what this pod's for.
Right, and that's awesome.
The main product, and we'll just kind of sit here and chit chat.
But it was nice that this main event ended with a clean finish. You had CM Punk and LA Knight standing tall, and it was kind of nice to not see the Vision for once.
Yes.
Agreed.
So I'll give the main event. I'll give the main event a thumbs up, just because it was something different for once.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Which this is something that happened earlier in the show, but I'm just now remembering about it. that backstage segment with Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman.
Ooh, yep.
I have a feeling
Well,
that's insinuating something for Crown Jewel.
Well, let's backtrack a little bit, like that backstage segment. What about that crash out from Becky? Seth is just standing there like a statue, like the Tin Man in Wizard of Oz, just checking on his watch because he was also dressed in silver. That's why I say that. And Becky's like, Maxine, oh, crooked referee. Yeah, it happened in Indianapolis. It happened now. I'm not going to let this happen. No, I'm not going to Perth. Not happening. It just reminds me, I'm loving Becky Lynch right now because it's reminding me of all the times in like 2002 where Stephanie was irritating the crap out of Triple H.
Yeah.
Right.
And she would go on these like
comparison.
And it's just like I'm reminded of them. It's almost like a modern day McMahon Helmsley era because it's just reminding me of all those times where Triple H just wanted to get into her face and tell her to shut up. And you could see it in Triple H's eyes. He would be rolling his eyes because Stephanie would be going on this rant, and he's like, "Can you just chill?" And it's like I can see Seth's motors running a little bit, and he's had those moments where I think he wants to tell Becky, "Shut up." But yeah, I loved what we got with Becky. Becky was comedic gold tonight, so that was one of my favorite backstage parts, was just Becky ranting. And then you see Paul Heyman, he's like behind Seth, and he's just smiling in your ear, just watching Becky just like crash out.
I think Becky's doing the best work of her career right now, if I'm being entirely honest.
I could definitely see an argument for that.
Like, the man was great. The man was over. Cool. Meaning, like,
this just shows a whole
2019 or whatever. But
yes,
this one, I don't.
It just shows her range.
Yeah. And the thing with Paul Heyman and Seth that I'm intrigued about is Seth's over here doubting, am I going to be able to beat Cody? You know, he's got 3 victories over me. I've not been able to beat him. And Paul basically looking at him saying, no, you're going to win. Almost kind of insinuating, hey, we know the Vision's going to get involved.
Right.
Oh, 100%.
But the way that Paul was delivering that promo kind of makes me wonder if there's a little bit more depth to this.
Right, it insinuates Roman, for sure.
I wondered if it insinuates Brock.
It could. But even if nothing does happen, I think it adds a whole other element, knowing that Paul's willing to go to that depth.
And the way you just said that, like even Paul was like, you know, you're going to make me question if you lose to Cody why I chose you over Roman.
Right.
And I'm very surprised he left Punk out of that equation because I thought he would like kind of stick the knife in a little bit more, where if we say like, you're going to make not only are you going to make me question why I chose Roman over why I chose you over Roman, but you're going to make me question why I even gave up my best friend for you. You know, the man whose wife tapped out your wife.
Ooh.
I think that would have been an added bonus into that.
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
And it's like not only am I doubting you, Seth, but I'm doubting your wife because your wife got tapped out by a woman that hadn't been here in 10 years. And she is supposed to be the greatest of all time. You know, I would have added that a little bit. I would have added more fuel to that fire because we know how much Seth hates CM Punk with a passion. He loathes the name CM Punk. And I'm surprised Paul Heyman didn't bring that up. And
maybe that's for another time.
Maybe that's for another time. But also the last time Paul was like kind of being this way was in 2013 when he turned on CM Punk and teamed with Brock Lesnar. This feels exactly kind of like that because any time over the past 12 years since Paul's been back in WWE, anytime somebody has let him down, who does that person get fed to? Brock Lesnar.
Yep.
True story.
And that's what's going to make him, like we mentioned Brock Lesnar in War Games earlier. That's wondering if that's where the seeds are being planted.
That could be.
Having Brock
That,
show up in
yeah.
Perth to help Seth get the victory, leading towards a kind of a story going into it with Brock and Cody. Then you get the baby faces on Cody's side. You get the Vision, Lesnar. It, I can't help but wonder if that's what they're insinuating. And of course, I don't want to try to be the one that tries to predict every little minute detail, but it is kind of intriguing.
Well, it's like for me too. Like a part of me, because of how I know how WWE books. I'm an expert at this now. But it's like the one thing I do not want is if Brock Lesnar is gonna be moving into things. I want him away from the titles. Keep him away. The last thing we need is another Brock Lesnar title reign.
Agreed.
And if WWE has learned anything, the fans are tired of part-time champions. 100%. I don't want him to get in a program with say Rollins or Cody, win the title, and disappears for a year and only defends it once a year.
And that's gonna. So keen on giving Brock Lesnar a title, for fuck's sake, give him the 24/7 title.
And a part of me is afraid. I'm really, really afraid of Brock Lesnar facing Cody at WrestleMania and him winning. I'm terrified that that's where it's going to head when there's so many other people that are more deserving of that. And I'm even more scared of him winning the Royal Rumble. And I do not want that, but that there's that little like doubt voice in the back of my head.
That went terrible in 2022.
But look at how TKO is. They're doing anything for a cash grab.
Right.
It's like, oh, that would be a scene. Brock Lesnar winning the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia. You know, that like the Saudi government will pay a lot of money for that. And WWE does not say no when it comes to Saudi money.
True story.
So I'm
pray that does not happen.
I'm really, really terrified. But I do not want Brock anywhere near the titles. That's why I hope he's not involved in War Games, even though I think he's going to be, because WWE is not that creative. And I want him away from anything that involves anybody with a title.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, if Gunther comes back soon from his nose injury, I want Brock and Gunther in a program.
I would enjoy that.
Absolutely.
Would enjoy that.
And like WWE not saying no to Saudi money, like it makes me think of like some of the earlier, like I think the earlier crown, the first crown jewel, the one that had Brothers of Destruction versus DX.
Right. The worst match ever. One of the worst.
The Saudi government asked for that's whenever the Saudi government was just about booking the whole thing.
Right.
That's when the Saudi government asked for an appearance from the Ultimate Warrior.
Oh, yeah.
In 2018. He had died in 2014.
Yeah, he's pretty dead by then.
It's like, we can bring him, but that might be in bad taste. But it was also
did they not even know he passed away like years before that contract was signed?
I have no clue.
That's crazy.
Because I remember Vince McMahon, the first Saudi show was in like what, 2017, 2018?
18.
So that was 4 years after Warrior passed.
But, like, I mean, you could bring Ultimate Warrior, that just might be in bad taste, but at the time it was Vince booking, and he's pretty notorious for bad taste, i.e. Katie Vick.
True story.
Or i.e. I'm going to have Shawn Michaels be in a tag team match with God.
True story.
That's
a conversation for another day, talking about Vince bookings.
that's a whole other podcast, yes.
A whole other. How are we feeling overall about this Raw?
I think it was
I'll give it like a 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I was going to say about 3.5 out of 5.
Exciting and refreshing, for sure.
It was decent, I will say that much. It could have been a lot better, but I think it was refreshing and decent. Which is more than I can say about the previous Raws we've had.
It's great knowing that we didn't have the Vision anywhere close to the main event.
That is definitely the biggest takeaway.
That and I'm just gonna say it. That Io Sky and Kyrie Sane, I think, was match of the night.
Agreed.
In ring, that match was so damn good.
Agreed.
Which I
There's
didn't
one thing,
expect anything less.
and there's one thing that was like, I'm kind of wondering, in your guys' opinion, where do you think AJ Lee's been at? Because this is the third Raw she hasn't been. So obviously she's not going to be at Perth, like I think a lot of people thought, to face Becky Lynch for the IC title. Like, so originally it was reported that she signed a multi-year full-time contract, but she hasn't been around for 3 weeks. So do you think she comes back next week or like the week after, or do you think she'll be involved in Survivor Series? Like right now it's like, where's Waldo? Well, where's AJ Lee? A lot of people have been asking that question, so I'm gonna ask you guys, where's AJ Lee, and what do we do with her if she allegedly signed this quote-unquote full-time contract?
I think they're easing into it, or she's easing into it, is what I think.
Yeah.
I think we'll see her soon.
I think that contract's kind of like the same thing with Punk is. It's like, yes, it's full time, but not necessarily there every week. He'll show up every couple of weeks or whatever.
So I don't know why they don't just label that a part-time contract, because that's necessarily what it is.
Maybe it's just the money. I have no idea. Like, as far
Maybe.
as how they differentiate it. But
Because I went on Twitter today, kind of went on a tangent, and I kind of made the sarcastic comment. I was like, well, I guess part-time is the new full-time schedule in WWE. I kind of made that comment.
anymore.
And it's like, because last time I checked, full-time meant you were there on a weekly basis.
Right.
Part-time is when you show up sporadically. So I'm like, were we lied to about the contract that she originally signed? Was it never full-time? Was it speculation? Because right now, if she's going to be in a program with Becky at some point, we can't lose that momentum by not having her show up.
Right. I think more than likely it's an easing into thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're like, plus she could very well be taking a little bit more time to knock off some of that ring rust.
Right. It's been 10 years.
But
Right.
I have no idea.
But I just wanted to ask that question because right now I'm really genuinely confused.
Right. That makes sense.
Braden,
Yeah.
time for your what if
What
of
ifs?
the night.
Alrighty. Alright, welcome to Braden's Question of the Night, where weekly I will be bringing you a different question along the lines of what if, what would you do, or how would you have done. Tonight we have a what if question. What if Daniel Bryan never got injured in 2014? Along with that, talking points. How long would his reign have lasted? It was obviously an important win. Would it have prohibited Cena's reign and Lesnar's reign in 2014? Bryan more than likely would have continued feuding with the Authority. What does that mean for the Shield? How does it affect the careers of Rollins, Reigns, and Dean with Daniel Bryan still in the picture and still as champion?
First of all, as far as the Brock reign, I could only hope.
Me too.
Fair.
We could just scratch that out, erase it.
Not
Right.
necessarily the reign itself, but how he won it.
No, I'm gonna stand my ground. The reign itself.
Hell yeah.
I don't like Brock Lesnar. I'm not afraid to say that. I don't want him having any titles. I never wanted him to have any titles. Erase the reign.
Fair
Signed,
enough.
sealed, and delivered.
As far as the Shield,
Because you got to remember, Daniel Bryan won the title, had his first defense against Kane at Extreme Rules, then the injury, started heating up, all that. But I think he would have continued to feud with the Authority. Where does that leave the Shield? Because they were also feuding with the Authority Evolution at that time. With Daniel Bryan in the picture, where does that leave room for the breakup?
I feel like the breakup would still happen to where Seth would then join the Authority. I just don't think it would have
ended in the same success. Right, because if Bryan still is a champion, I don't think Cena ends up getting that belt from Bryan. Therefore, Lesnar doesn't get the belt. Is Seth going to cash in on Daniel Bryan? What feuds are Daniel Bryan going to get into? Because the timeline just has to hit perfectly for that to work.
Okay, so remind me, so this was around the time where I was sporadically watching Raw because I was a very busy junior in high school. You guys are younger than me. I'm the grandma in the group. Okay, so, when did Daniel Bryan originally get injured around Extreme Rules? I know he got injured by Kane.
After Mania.
Yes, but then he officially vacated the title right before Payback?
At Payback.
At Payback.
Who was the champion when the Shield broke up?
I think it was vacant from Bryan. Or Bryan might have still been champion, but injured.
Bryan was champion, but
he was out.
Yeah, he was done basically.
Okay.
Okay, because I know
time to have him relinquish it.
Oh yeah, because John won, and then Brock took it off of him, and then okay. So, me personally, I think maybe the Shield thing would have been stretched out a little bit longer. One, because when Daniel Bryan was out, they initially told the Shield, no, we need 3 new stars right now. And I think a lot of it had to do with Daniel Bryan being out, and I think there was a little bit of desperation. And even around that time, John Cena was slowing down a little bit. And so maybe it would have happened later on that year, but I do not think it would have happened right after Payback. I think they would have maybe extended their babyface reign as the Shield because they were just kind of starting it, especially with those 2 amazing matches with Evolution that they had, the one at Extreme Rules, which is the one I actually prefer out of the 2, even though they talk about the Payback one more, but I actually prefer the Extreme Rules match. And I think Daniel Bryan getting injured put a huge monkey wrench in a lot of things, and WWE was desperate for something. And I think that's why the Shield just broke up out of the blue, because Seth has notoriously said that they found out an hour before the doors open, we're breaking the Shield up and Seth's gonna turn. And Seth was not prepared for it because originally the textbook example would have been for Dean, because Dean is just a little bit better at being a darker heel because of how he talks and everything.
Right.
And it was hard for Seth to turn heel. He has said that. So I think it would have happened, but I don't think it would have been that soon and that abrupt.
I don't think it would have been as effective if it wouldn't have been that abrupt.
No.
Exactly.
It kind of makes me think too. It's I wonder if that would have impacted Batista quitting, because that happened the same night.
Exactly. Would there have been more between Bryan and Batista? Their one-off match from the Mania Triple Threat to keep Batista around.
Yeah.
I think a lot of 2014 revolves around that Daniel Bryan reign and the injury more than we think. And I think it definitely would have affected the careers of Reigns, Rollins, and Ambrose had it not gone down as perfectly as it did. I think they'd still be successful, but I think it might have taken a little longer for them to hit that jump.
Batista originally, the reason why he left in the first place is because when he returned, he was promised certain things that he didn't get, and he didn't want to win the Royal Rumble, by the way, in 2014. He wanted somebody else, but they were like, no, you have to win, and he's like, well, whatever. But Batista was kind of he was sold certain things that didn't actually end up happening, so that's kind of why he quit. But I don't know what would happen with Batista. I don't know if Batista would have been. I think he would have been out the door anyways. And because even that summer, he had to go film a movie anyways.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think it would have impacted the Shield a little bit more if Daniel Bryan would have stayed. And also, I don't know if Daniel Bryan would have stayed if Roman Reigns would have even won the Royal Rumble the next year. You know, there's a lot of questions there. Would Roman Reigns have won the Royal Rumble? Would he still have faced Brock Lesnar? Would we still have the cash in? There's a lot of I don't knows.
Right.
I'm almost certain we still would have had a Brock reign because that's off the back of him breaking the streak. Which, don't get me started on that, by the way, because I will talk until...
For another day.
I could talk for a weekend over that, basically.
For another weekend.
But yeah, I think initially WWE were probably done what they normally do. They probably would have had Daniel Bryan and Brock Lesnar in a match. Brock Lesnar squashes Daniel Bryan. And then Daniel Bryan wins the Royal Rumble instead of Roman. And then he has his match at Mania, gets it back. Maybe Seth still cashes in because, but then I don't know. I don't think we would have had a Seth cash in because I don't think they would have broken up the Shield that early because Money in the Bank was that same month. I think the main event of WrestleMania would have been Brock and Bryan would have gotten it back.
That, and I feel like that cash in wouldn't have landed like it did.
Right, but also with Bryan as champion, so the breakup is delayed. I think we all kind of came to that consensus. There's no reason for Seth to win Money in the Bank.
Right.
Well, yeah, because that's exactly what that's kind of what I said. Like,
right,
because they broke up the same month that Money in the Bank happened because he won the Money in the Bank briefcase 3 months after breaking up the Shield. If the Shield stayed together, then we get no Seth Rollins and Money in the Bank, no win, and we get no cash in. But then I also don't see Roman Reigns winning the Royal Rumble because I see WWE booking Bryan to lose the title to Brock Lesnar, say at SummerSlam instead in 2014, and then Brock is champion until Mania, and then Daniel Bryan gets his rematch and he wins back the WWE Championship. I think that's WrestleMania 31 would have ended with Daniel Bryan, because Vince loves that David versus Goliath thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And that would have been the prime example of that storytelling. So I don't see a cash in. I don't see Roman involved in the main event. I probably would have maybe WrestleMania 31 is when the cracks begin, and maybe we would have seen an expedition match between the 3 members of the Shield, which that could have been when we had that triple threat instead at WrestleMania 31.
Right.
But there's a lot there. But I think that's kind of where things would have went.
Yeah. What about you, Brady?
No, I think the careers. I'm more just focused on the impact of the Shield. I think their careers would have looked totally different. I think they all would have still been successful, but I don't think they would have been the megastars they are today. I think Bryan getting injured gave them the moment to capitalize on it and use that heat to. What's the word I'm looking for? To boost all of their careers.
Right.
So, I think.
And another thing, because you mentioned Rambo, you mentioned the streak. There's another thing that really badly impacted 2014 and the reason why the Shield also had to break up. It wasn't just Daniel Bryan getting injured because they lost the biggest baby face that belonged to the audience. Because remember, CM Punk quit in January.
Yep.
True story.
So you have Daniel Bryan injured, and then you have CM Punk who quit, who was probably the biggest baby face in the company at that point. And then you have Batista leaving. I would be like Vince. I'd be scrambling too, because if Punk and Bryan both were there, the Shield would have never broken up that early because they wouldn't have been in desperation for new stars. So a lot of things made that happen.
No,
Agreed.
definitely. I think Vince.
I think that was a.
Definitely kind of like, oh shit, what do I do now?
Yeah, that was 100% what it was.
I
think that was a beautiful conversation out of the. Right, that was a beautiful conversation out of the first question of the day.
Oh yeah.
That was actually a wonderful what if. And your introduction to your segment was way better. I need to come up with an introduction the next time. But this was the first episode. This was the trial run.
Oh yeah, we will get it out. And speaking of that, I think before we get the 2-hour mark, I think we put a end on the very first episode of Squared Circle Sessions.
Hell yeah. And before I do, I'm gonna end it on this, which
All right.
it's not necessarily WWE related, it's wrestling related. Because I've seen something on Twitter today that almost irritated me, but I'm better than that.
Twitter and irritation.
To those that are listening,
Continue.
You know, that goes hand in hand, Twitter and irritation.
It really does.
if you're a wrestling fan, be a wrestling fan. Stop this tribalism bullshit.
Agreed.
Stop shitting on the indies.
They're doing this for a hot dog and a pack of cigarettes jokes.
If we didn't have the indies, you wouldn't see wrestlers like AJ Styles or Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn like you do now.
Right, amongst many others.
A very dear
Well, here's
friend
the thing,
of mine
like-
is the current WWE ID champion right now.
Well, I think that's just like, I think the ones that crap on the indies the most is there's this difference between, so there's the difference between professional wrestling fans, and then there's the difference between the WWE fans. And I think the WWE fans are the tribalism thing that we're talking about, because WWE fans don't watch other stuff besides WWE.
Yep.
They really don't. They have no clue. And the problem is WWE will aims their product at the casual viewer. And that's the majority of who goes to the shows.
Yes.
I think the IWC is toxic in its own right, but the IWC is also more invested and they know more. And so WWE deciding, oh, we're not going to listen to the IWC is basically them saying in a nutshell, we're not going to listen to our diehards. We're going to listen to the corporate people that fill 50% of our our show at WrestleMania.
Right.
And we're going to listen to the billionaires and the millionaires that sponsor for us. So we're going to listen to who helps gives us a paycheck. And it's like, most of the WWE audience, they are going to think the most mundane and mediocre thing is the greatest thing on earth when it's not. And so WWE can be so much better if they listen to everybody that's a wrestling fan, including online, because last time I checked, it was the online rebellion of them letting go R-Truth that brought him back. Like, Triple H can go on all these panels and say it was all part of the show, and we all know that's bullshit, when obviously it was the online backlash that made you realize, oh, we effed up by getting rid of one of the most popular and most wholesome and most beloved superstars that this company has ever drawn, which was R-Truth. I remember
that R-Truth was released on my birthday.
I remember seeing that online, seeing R-Truth got released, and I was sick to my stomach. And it made me almost want to quit watching WWE for a while. Like, legit. I was very, very close to.
That's very fair.
But it's like, you got to love the indies because you like you said, Sami Zayn, Kevin Steen, El Generico, but that's what Sami Zayn used to be. American Dragon, Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, Adam Cole in AEW, Tyler Black, John Moxley in CZW before he was Dean Ambrose, and now he's back to John Moxley. Like, these indie stars are the stars of today.
And
So you need to appreciate them.
the thing is,
Right.
you can tell, go to an indie show and then go to a Monday Night Raw. Here's the difference. Going to a Monday Night Raw, they're not necessarily doing what they're doing for the audience. They're doing it for a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
The indies they're doing everything they can. They're busting their asses in the ring for the potential 20 to 25 people that's in attendance.
Right.
Exactly.
So support independent wrestling. That's all I gotta say.
Yes.
Like,
Let's be grateful for the total product we have in our world.
And stop listening to Dave Meltzer.
Oh God.
Again, topic for another day. That's a whole rant. That's a whole rant.
The fact that Kurt
Dave Meltzer, Vince Russo, Brian Alvarez. Do not listen to them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also, don't listen to Kevin Nash.
That as well.
Hell no.
All right, definitely a rant for a different time.
This episode of Squared Circle Sessions.
And don't forget to tell people where they can listen to this.
Yes.
Like
we are,
if they didn't catch the live version.
Now up and available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. So surely you got one of those three. Go check.
I have all three.
Subscribe, follow, comment, like, share. I don't know.
Do it all. Thank you very much.
And also, if you want to give us like ideas, if you want to send me personally, you guys can follow my ex at Hannah121 Aqua, HANNAH121 AQUA. You can submit questions and ideas to me, and I can give these to Rambo and have him approve of them because this is his show. But if you want to submit certain things to my social media, that's my social media. Again, at Hannah121 Aqua on Twitter /X.
Hell yeah.
Same goes here for Instagram and TikTok. You can find me at Braden Likes Cake. BRADEN Likes Cake.
Type shit. Hell yeah. And I'm Rambo Lot. You can find me as at Rambo Lot anywhere because I'm glued to my phone. Because
Fair enough.
I don't go to the gym. Look at me. I'm just kidding. I exercise that table muscle really well too. On that note, everybody, y'all take care. Enjoy. Have fun. Bye. Yeah.
Bye, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you for listening.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to the inaugural episode of Squared Circle Sessions. Again, I apologize about the technical difficulties with the volume. However, it is now fixed. I appreciate every one of y'all for hanging out with us for a little while. Be sure to hit us with a follow, subscribe, like, comment, and all that fun stuff. And until then, bye. During the edit